Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be checking out another group who I've never heard before, who the name is spelled as in toe, as in the thing on your foot. Toe. Like the finger of your foot. That thing. However, because this is a Japanese group, as far as I'm aware, I mean, let's face it, that's what this channel's about, I would assume that maybe it's Toe? I don't know, but anyway, you guys let me know. This is one that I picked up from my Reddit suggestion thread. As always, if you want to suggest songs for me to check out, that's the place to do it. It's a long waiting list, but believe me, I get through to everything. So long as it doesn't get copyright blocked, I will post a review to it. And even if it does, I'll post something to review it. Anyway, one thing I would say, this song is called Goodbye, and it features Toki Asako, who's another person who I don't know by name. I'm really bad at remembering names though, so hey, maybe it's just me. The one thing I would say though is that, heads up, I was warned that this is actually a live video. I always say this, if it's the first time I ever hear a band live, it is always a bit of a risky one if you want me to give a fair review, because the problem is with live is that if you already know the song, then you can really enjoy a live. But if you don't already know the recording of the song, then sometimes there might be things that you don't realise they've stripped it back for the recording, and without that context, you can sometimes say, well, maybe something sounds more empty than it would otherwise if you knew that it was being done as a counter to the recording, if you know what I mean. And also live recordings, almost always, regardless of what people say, you don't have as many takes to get it right, so you won't always hear the musicians at their best, and the mix will never be as good as a studio. Sorry. I mean, you might not have to worry about things like mastering and all the compression, but still. Anyway, this is enough of me waffling about the live stuff. Just wanted to say that before anyone criticises me for any of my comments on this. But hey, I might be proven wrong and this might be perfectly recorded. Nonetheless, this is Toe with a song called, Goodbye. And then it says it in Japanese, Goodbye. Okay. Enough waffle. Let's listen to this and then we'll talk about it more afterwards. Okay.
Stop me. Truly, I will keep silence. Everyone is many a time. You don't have to know others.
Everything sounds very nice and smooth and kind of tangible at the moment. You can really feel the musicianship, which is one of the benefits of live, I must admit. Ooh, nice sounds there. Yeah, I really like the way the electric keyboards, electric piano is going with the mix of guitar sounds. Okay, I really wanted to work towards something now. It's kind of... Come on. There we go. It's one of those things, it's a simple riff, but when you put together all of the sounds, the timbre of the whole arrangement, it suddenly becomes something much more. Oh, here's our guest. Someone kick the sound engineer. Lovely voice, very sort of One of those voices where it sounds somewhere between singing and just talking to you. Great little rhythmic shuffle there. Fantastic drum work. I know many people would probably quote the sort of jamming philosophy here, but I must admit I hope they're building up to some sort of change in the chord pattern at some point. Repeating a chord pattern over and over can get quite grating, even if the musicianship's fantastic, but if it's building up to a change, then it's just going to accent it more. Getting a little bit of change. It's all kind of resting on the tonic chord at the moment, but still. The musicianship's fantastic. I love it. Just love the sound. I can understand this is one of the benefits of a live version. You're really hearing the craftsmanship going into this because it's nicely recorded. Work on the cymbals on the drum kit. Beautiful. We've still got almost 3 minutes left. I wonder what's going to happen. That's some cool little effects there. Analog synthetics. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to call it. I'm getting a bit tired of this chord pattern now. I mean, the musicianship's great, but I just really want them to flip it up a little bit. Thank God for the drummer, he's really keeping it alive. Busted the cymbal stand. This is difficult because there's a lot I really like about this. Still got 1 minute left, so I'm going to let it play out. I'm guessing because this is a live performance of a featurette, they're going to thank her. Yep. She has got a wonderful voice. So one of those voices, people always compliment the most powerful singer or the singer with the biggest voice, but sometimes the one who's just the most relatable, the one who when they sing just kind of grabs you in the right way. She's got one of those voices. Alright, I'm going to go into a lot of detail about the good and the things that maybe didn't appeal to me, because I think this is one which is going to be really subjective to opinion, and I can see this really splitting opinion, this song. But I think it has a lot to be credited for. I'm just letting this play out because it's got a few seconds left, but I might as well start talking because clearly the song is over. Okay, anyway, so the good and the bad. Well, let's talk about the good things first of all, because there was a lot of good to get into that. Now, first of all, obviously, it would be ironic that after my previous comments at the beginning of the video, this was, yeah, there it ends. This was beautifully recorded. Don't get me wrong, I still think that a studio version, you can get it exactly perfect, even with something like this, which was clearly designed to be a jammed song. I mean, it was so jammed in its nature that I don't even know if there is a studio version of this. Maybe they're not. Maybe this is just something which was done as a live project, or is, only really focused on being that way. But, it's something where if you sit in a studio, people think it's a very cold and heartless thing to do. But in actuality, you can just really what you're doing is you're sitting playing the song over and over again, whether you all record at once or if you all record separately, until you can all sit down and say that was the best performance. So, I mean, even if you're a live purist, there are a lot of bands who go into a studio and record as a band, and then they just do many takes until they like that one take the most. Anyway, enough of me whinging about that. My basic point is, yeah, that was actually really well recorded. You could hear everything. It was beautifully balanced, beautifully mixed. Fair enough. So disregard my earlier comments. I actually really like the way this was done. The song itself was beautifully played, but I have to give credit above everyone else. The single was fantastic. There was nice bits on the guitar. There was nice touches. I loved the way that the guitarist sort of accented the various bits. Didn't really hear much of the bass getting involved, but the bass was really holding the core of everything down, so that's fine. But the drummer really made this one come to life, and I got to admit, without the drummer playing the way they did with the beautiful touches and everything, at first it started with that fantastic snare work and sort of builds up in the rolls, and then you started more and more play on the cymbals. It's down to the touch. If you just sort of bang something over and over again, you get a rhythm, but it doesn't accent so much. It loses its longevity, whereas when each touch feels different and feels like it's accenting something with a different mood and a different sort of timbre, it gives that one piece of metal so much longevity in the song because it's accenting so much. So yeah, I thought he did a fantastic job, and he really built things up towards the end. I must admit, though, my overall problem is that I love good musicianship, and as a musician as well, I have, and someone who's worked with musicians so many times, I have nothing against musicianship. I really enjoy it, but I've always said that as a craft, I think that songwriting is infinitely more important than musicianship, because of the fact that this is the reason why we have more great musicians than we have great songwriters, is because you can get a group of mediocre musicians and give them a really great song and you can produce something timeless. If you get a group of the best musicians and don't really give them a proper songwriter, then you're going to produce some nice session stuff, but none of it's really going to be timeless and memorable. Ultimately, the song is the important thing. The way that you present it, that is important, but it's never as important as what you're actually making in the first place. So when I listen to this, my biggest issue is that I can feel how well it's played, but the song started off as quite nice. I was like, oh, okay, this is good. I like the way the riff came and everything. By the end, that was just kind of grating away. I mean, now it's kind of stuck in my head, but not in a good way. And I feel shame about that. I mean, maybe even if it was just that one guitarist had stopped doing that riff for a bit and done something different, because it turned from being a real pleasure when it first came in to being kind of nauseating by the end, and the drummer was really saving it. So maybe I'm being overall a bit too harsh on the whole thing, but I think it was maybe that one guitar line was the main problem. But overall, the chord pattern, like I said, the chord pattern was the same throughout, and it did have that one break that changed. But just to give you an idea of why I didn't feel that worked as well as it could have done, when you change the chord pattern, a chord pattern starts usually from the one note, which is the core of the song, the one that your ears will feel most comfortable when it comes back to it. Let me see, can I demonstrate this to you? I might be able to. Hold on one second, we don't edit anything, so my foot will go up and the ukulele will come. So if I'm playing something which just go around through the same notes, so I start with this note and I go, When I come back to that, it sounds comfortable because that's obviously where the song's supposed to be going. But if then I do something different and it still starts from that, you're still getting a lot of that, and so it doesn't really feel like it's breaking the cycle so much. Whereas if suddenly I went and started from a totally different place, then it would sound more like you're breaking it up. It sounds more like you're breaking up the course of the song. Like I say, this is me just sort of improving a lesson here. We are going to have some videos on this channel where we're going to do some short, simple, and better scripted music theory things where I discuss some of the things that we talk about on this, because I know there's some people who wanted more layman terms descriptions of these things. But every time there was a break in the chord pattern here, it was still very much leaning on that central chord. You could call it the tonic or the key of the song. It felt like nothing really changed that much in the structure of the chord pattern. And the problem is that I know that's very popular for people who like jam style music and people who like music which is done as a jam. And that's great. That's great. I know people are really into that. And as a musician, it's really fantastic when you're playing it. But for an audience, it can get a little bit boring. If I had maybe had a few drinks, or, you're just sort of like chilling and, you're chilling, then that's something where you can get into it. You kind of zone out. And I think that's kind of what this is for. This is kind of like for zoning out too. You kind of don't listen to it so much as just kind of let it pour over you. Which is fine, but, for me, I kind of go into these things. The things that I look forward to most is hearing like a song or something I can really get my teeth into. So if your thing is you don't really care too much about songwriting, you just like to hear musicians kind of expressing themselves really well, then for the most part, this is really good. Drummer especially. Drummer was fantastic. The guy on the acoustic was doing some really nice touch on what he was playing as well, although the acoustic was quite quiet in the mix. This is a really great song for that. However, I got to admit, I don't think, now I've heard it once, I don't think I'd be tempted to go back to it and listen to it again because, like I say, by the end, it was just too much. It got long in the tooth for me. Like I say, I think the only time this would really work for me is if I kind of didn't know it was coming on. It was just chilling out with some friends and it just kind of came on in the background. It would make some good sort of mood, be kind of good in the background. But yeah, I got to admit, fantastic musicianship, kind of let down by the fact that no one spent more time on the songwriting, in my opinion. But hey, that's my opinion. I know this is the kind of thing where there are some people who are really into this style of songwriting. Well, I wouldn't really call it songwriting, but who are really into like jam music. If that's the case, then by all means feel free to contest this in the comments. Music is all about opinions after all. I can give like an educated opinion as someone who's worked with music, but you're only as right as what you like. So get in there, tell me what you think in the comments, whether you like it, dislike it. Did you like the musicianship? I'd be surprised if you didn't. What did you think of the song? Did you think it worked as a song, or did you not really think like me? Did you think it kind of wasn't really a song so much as just a jam? Do you know about the band or the actual song? Has it got a recorded version? Do you know more, basically, to give context to what I'm saying? Really interested to hear what you guys tell me, and be interested to hear more of this band as well. I mean, like I say, even if this wasn't necessarily my thing, I'd be interested to see what other things they do, the sort of contrast, because they're clearly extremely talented. But anyway, for now from Japan, thank you so much for tuning in. Until I see you soon in the comments or on the next video, ciao, ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.